Hey everybody, this is me, the Undead Viking, and this guy right here is called True Crime Legends. Now, I'm going to talk about the game here in just a little bit, but let me just say one thing. So, if you've watched my channel for some time, you probably have heard me pontificate once or twice about our, and by our, I mean not necessarily like, you know, me or you, or just like, I mean just kind of like society in general, our proclivity towards the idea of playing the bad guy. You know, look at professional wrestling. It seems like the bad guys get all the fun. You know, if you see all the games out there that, like, you know, made it so you get to be the underground dungeon lord, or, you know, if you get to, like, you know, play as the gangster or what have you. I think it has something to do with the idea that we like to dip our toes in the idea of, you know, being the bad guy without the repercussions of actually having to go to prison or being shot or whatever, you know, as far as that goes. And so I do like games that allow me to play as the bad guy for exactly that reason. I enjoy that aspect of it. Now, True Crime Legends has that. You are a mob boss. You're gonna you know, have your cadre of gangsters that work for you, and that's kind of the hook. Is like, by the True Crime Legends thing, is that the gangsters in this are like real life people. So those are the people that you're gonna be hiring to work for you. So it's gonna have a connection to, like, the real world, if you will, which is kind of a neat aspect. I'll talk about that more in my final thoughts. But you know, the game itself is a tableau game. It is a game where you are going to build up your empire by using different cards. Those cards are cards that you're either going to purchase from an asset board, basically, or maybe you're going to steal them from the other players who grab them. It is a game that you will level up as far as your mob boss will gain in power and prestige, and unless they get killed, which I'll talk about when I show you how the game is played. But, you know, and then you're just going to be, over a process of 4 turns, you're just going to build up your little empire, and hopefully you're going to make a bunch of money, and you're going to have more money than anybody else, and at the end of the game you will be declared the winner. So let me show you how the game is played. It is not the most difficult game in the world to play. It is actually pretty straightforward, but it has, like, some little nooks and crannies that you need to, like, figure out as far as strategy goes, which I'll talk about more when we get back here where I am right now, when I talk to you about why I've enjoyed playing True Crime Legends. Alright, cool. Let's do this. Alright, I have a game of True Crime Legends set up. I'm going to talk about what you're looking at here, and I'm going to show you how to play. Alright, so the vast majority of True Crime Legends is going to be played in front of you, the player. You're going to have a tableau of cards that you're going to build up as the game goes on, and the other players are going to do their best to limit your tableau and to smash it and break it down. They're going to do that by, you know, attacking you or dismantling the things that you have, that you're using to earn money, to give you yourself access to powers, and you increase your credit and all kinds of things like that. Alright, so begin the game. Each person's going to be given a boss card. Now, your bosses are just, you know, pretty straightforward. They're going to have, like, it has level of 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. They have this number here. This is like your rep. This is like your credit. Like, this is what people think of you. As this increases, you get to unlock. So once you get to 6 rep, then you get to boss level 2, and so forth as the game proceeds. Now, I'm kind of jumping ahead here just a slight little bit, but just so you know, how do you get credit? How do you get, like, rep? How do you, like, improve yourself? You get that through owning certain things that are impressive. So, like, if you own, like, this racehorse here, you can see this racehorse would cost you 20k. It has a 20k income. It gives you a slight little bonus here, and I'll talk about these. These are actions you take and things like that. But you can see it gives you 4 rep. And so, like, that would contribute to your total rep, and hopefully it would then allow you to increase your boss level. Now, what you're looking at, and a lot of these cards, like the gangster cards, have the exact same things. What you're looking at on your boss cards are, you have certain actions that you do. Once again, I'll go through the actions here in just a little bit. But the biggest thing is that when you take an action, you're going to be totaling up the number of stars that you have. And then if you take that action, you're going to be rolling a 6-sided die. And you are hopefully going to roll less than the total number of stars that you have for that particular action. Because then it will, well, less than or equal, I should say. And then will be successful. Now, even though you can't see it, your tableau will be constructed. If you have a full tableau, it'll be constructed of 12 cards. You can have your boss and 3 gangsters here. You can have 4 assets here, and you can have 4 upgrades here. If you ever have more than those types of cards, you can discard the ones that you have and to replace them if you wish. In some situations, you won't be able to discard them because of certain abilities and certain factors that are in play. But for the most part, you are able to interchange them as you go. So, like if you have something, like if you can, replace your racehorse later for something better and bigger, like maybe the strip joint or the gun store or whatever, you can go ahead and replace it at a later time. I should mention that the upgrades, like you can see here, like this evidence card, upgrades will have stars on them. These will upgrade the ability of for this particular one, and I should show you the reference card as well. And I should mention that the designer of the game, I really like it when iconography is one thing, and that's really great, but when you actually go to the trouble of having really good reference material, so you can hand one of these to every one of the players and they're going to know exactly what this means. They're like, well, what is this guy there? Oh, you can just look right there. You can jail target, and this will give you a bonus for that. If you look at these, the two people talking, you can take target, persuade action. You can see it just gives you that bonus. So I really like it when designers and publishers go the extra little leap just to make a game easy. Now you could have just thrown that in the rule book and just had that to look at, but no, they went to the trouble of having that done. But anyway, so the way the game works, like I said, you're gonna be building a tableau. There's 3 phases. There's 4 rounds of the game, which are notified by these 4 cards here. Round 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then each round will have 3 different phases. You have a market phase, an actions phase, and an income phase. The market phase, whoever is the first player, you determine that by rolling a die, and then that'll be the first player of that round. What you're going to be doing then is the first player during the market phase will purchase the cards that they wish to out of the market. Up on top you have your assets, the middle is these gangsters, and the bottom row is the upgrades. Now, whatever they choose to pick, they will replace those cards at their end by drawing from the top of the deck. So if on my turn, let's say I purchased, the gun store, and I put that in my assets, and I also purchased, the club, and I put that in my assets, but I also wanted to buy this lucky coin, I put that in my upgrades, and I wanted to go ahead and get another gangster, and I got Ronnie Cray, the gangster, and I put that guy right there. Now, I should mention that each one of these bosses does have, and the other boss cards as well, here's another boss card, they each have a nation on there. That's, that's just to denote you as that player. You can hire, notice that Ronnie Cray, as far as, you can see it has the different flags in there for the different locations, or the different where they're from, the nations or what have you. You can hire anybody. You don't have to just hire people from your particular flag. But anyway, so after you were done doing that, what you would do is you would go and you would fill this up for the next person in line. So then, they wouldn't have blank holes available to them for it. And I actually did that incorrectly. I should have slid these down like so. But, regardless, you fill them up. You fill up the tableau for the next person to go. I want to take a quick moment to mention one aspect of both, some gangsters and all of your bosses. They will have this particular little icon here on the top here, where it says secure. What that means, because placement in your tableau matters, what that means is that the items in that column, if you have that thing, are immune to being taken from you, from being destroyed. Players won't be able to do that. Now, they can still get rid of your gangster in some way, or they can even kill your boss. And getting your boss killed is something that's going to happen to you, but it doesn't mean you lose. Your boss is gone, you don't have it anymore, you'll turn the card over to show that it's killed, but you still continue the game because you can still take actions, you still have money, you still have assets, you still have all those things. And the winner of the game is the person who has the most money at the end of the game. So just keep in mind, getting your boss killed, while is a detriment, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose the game. I've had games where people have won even though their boss has been killed. But anyway, so when you have these people, they're going to be able to secure the spots, but you can still get at them if you can somehow take out the person that's there. So after you've done all of that, after everybody's had their chance to purchase everything, now you're going to do actions. Now the way actions work is that each person will take one action, and then the next person takes an action, and the next person takes an action, and so forth. The people that can take your actions are your gangsters or your boss. And once they've taken one action, they can no longer take any further actions. You are limited by the number. So if you have your full tableau, you're going to be able to take 4 actions. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you'd be kind of foolish not to, because of the fact that, that's how you're going to win the game, is by taking different actions to hurt other players. Even like the bosses themselves, they have this ability here where it is they can just collect money. They can collect extra income. That's like a special power that they have. So each person will take an action. They will tilt their card slightly to show they've taken an action, and then they'll reset it again for the next round. But that's just how you show that you've used certain actions. After everybody's done taking actions and they're done passing, you'll do what's called the income phase, which then all of your assets and all of your income generating items will then generate that income for you, and then you will take your money, as you can see the paper money over there. You'll take that money and you'll reset for the next round. Now, that's kind of, going forward, I want to talk a little bit about strategy and things like that here in just a little bit, but I do want to say that there is like a ton of different actions, as I showed you on this particular card here, where you have all these, it's like you use your rep to upgrade your boss, you can steal money, you can get 100K from the bank, and so on and so forth. But there's a couple of things that are very important. If you try to attack somebody and you fail, they get to take a retaliation attack on you. So let's say somebody decided they really wanted to kill Ronnie Cray. And that I was fighting against, and they said, okay, well, and they had a total of attack, because maybe they had this assault rifle, which helps attack, and some other things. They had like a 4 or better, or 4 or less, I should say. So let's just roll the die and see what we get here. So I roll a 3. That would mean that he get killed and he be gone, which would be unfortunate. But let's say they rolled a 5, and remember, you are picking a person to go through with that attack. When you choose the person they're attacking, that's the person that attacks. So now, if they fail, what I'm able to do is, because I can retaliate, I can then go ahead and roll a die, add up my total retaliate ability, and see if so it would be a 1 or a 2. If I roll, I didn't roll it, but let's say I rolled a 1. I get to kill the person that attacked it. So attacking somebody, even if you have like a good chance, there's a chance if you fail, and there's a chance that they're going to come back and get you instead. So it's just something to keep in mind if you are going to be like attacky, as they say in these games. Certain abilities will let you put people in jail, which I showed you, like the evidence, which helps with that. If somebody goes in jail, you put a card over the top of them like that. Now you can't discard them; they're in jail. It's like you can't get rid of them. They're sitting there. They're gumming up the works. Now, what you can do, however, is you can pay the release fee of 100K, and you can get them out of jail. There's also certain abilities and certain things that you can do, like there's courts and judges that you can have in your back pocket that will allow you to get people out of jail for free. The other thing that I should mention is that you notice that there is with this ability, this narcotics ability to smuggle. Now, this is a very important aspect, because this is going to be the best way to get money, but it is also going to be the most dangerous way to get money. So, certain things you will have, like your boss will have a narcotics level. Up here, I'll show you like this boss level card again. They'll have that little 1 up there. That's the narcotics level that they have. But certain like locations, assets, and also certain upgrades that you'll have, like this narco sub, they use to smuggle, will have like a number on that. You will total the number of like assets and upgrades that you have, and also like if you're like look at, say, like here, like a Sam here, has like a 2 in his in his like portfolio up there, so that he's allowed to have. You total that amount, and then you decide the amount that you want to try to smuggle. Now, if you have, say, 10 narcotics, you don't have to do 10 if you don't want to. You could say, you know what, I'm going to do 5, I'm going to do 3, I'm going to do 1, whatever you want to do. And when you smuggle, what you end up doing is you do have to do a dice roll. And when you roll the dice, you can see that depending upon the die roll and depending upon the level of the narcotics that you're trying to smuggle. So like on a 1 or a 2, if you roll a 1, you get 60K. If you roll a 6, you get 10K. But you can't possibly fail. You're never going to go to jail. Whereas, like, if you get up into the big numbers, like if you have 10 or more narcotics and you decide you're going to roll, you better hope you roll a 1 or a 2, or else the person that you sent to go and get the narcotics and to do the smuggling, they're going to end up going to jail and suffering the same aspect that you before. You place the jail card over the top, and this can happen to your boss as well, and then you can't get them released until you either use an action to get them released or pay the 100K. All right, so that's how the game is played. You're going to do that. You're going to do the 3 phases of each round. After the game's over, you're going to determine who has the most money. This is a game of also open negotiation. Cash is king in this game, and you can try to convince somebody, hey, you can offer like to do things for other people. You can offer to trade things you have. This is a game where everything is open, everything is free. You can go ahead and try to convince other people to attack other people. Try to convince other people to help you in certain ways. Sell off some of your assets for cash. Do anything you possibly can to negotiate a deal. Now, just like any other negotiation game, negotiations at that time, at that moment, they have to happen. Like you can't renege on a deal at the moment. But if you ever have a situation where you're like, if you help me this turn, I'll help you next turn, or help me right now, and when I get my income, I'll give you 80K. You aren't held to that. Of course, then the person might be seeking revenge for not following through on your part of the deal. But that's something to keep in mind as well, is that you get to go ahead and be kind of free and open. And like it's the wheeling and dealing part of the game, obviously, that I really enjoy. I've always loved negotiation games. I've always loved the game beyond the game type of stuff. But at its heart, the game is a fun little game of tableau building, of matching up different skills, matching up different abilities, and just also being able to play as the bad guy, which, as I've always said, it is fun being the bad guy. But let me talk about that and more in my final thoughts. All right. There you go. That is True Crime Legends. So, okay. So, a couple things about the strategy. So, like, the thing about it, this game would still be fun as like just a straightforward grab these cards, put them together, gain in power, smash and grab type of game. It would still be fun. But for me, the way the game actually like really unlocks most of the fun for me is the fact that it is like a totally open negotiation game. There are so many games out there that aren't at all like that. It is just straightforward. You do your thing, and that person does their thing, and she does your thing, and it gets back to you, and you do your thing. And everybody just does their thing, and then at the very end of the game, everybody's done their thing, and you see how you've done. Now, I've harped a little bit, probably too much, about player interaction, and why I think that is needed in games for them to kind of... Well, I'll say this. It is, in my opinion, and once again, this is just the way the games I enjoy. If you dislike these types of games, then that's fine. It's completely whatever. But in my opinion, I need to push a game to the levels of me really enjoying it. I need to interact with other people. That doesn't necessarily mean I have to hurt them. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to debilitate them in some way. What it means to me is that I need to do something with them. At a very involved level. And I think negotiation games, in a way, do satisfy that a great deal without them having to be like a game where you're like just pounding on one another, one after the other. You can have negotiation. You can get people to work with you. You can work to a common goal, even though only one of you can win. You can kind of work with it. Games like I can't. I was gonna say Cosmic Encounter. I was gonna say that, but no, because you can have a shared victory in that game. But nothing's coming to my mind. But that's kind of an art, right? Where you have to figure out if it's worth it right now for me to work with you right at this moment, at this section of this game, and hopefully, I can still come out on top. that's a tough like tightrope to walk on. That's a tough tightrope to balance on. So I like games that help me. Not just as a non sequitur, and I'll say this just once, and I'll say it again, but I mean in the later videos, but I just say it once here. It doesn't necessarily mean a game without player interaction is bad. It just, in my viewpoint, it makes it tougher for me to enjoy it, I guess. But anyway, moving on. So here's the thing. This is a game, True Crime Legends. I mean, it combines real life stuff going on, which is something I've always liked in games. Artana does a great job of that as a game company. But like, I like it when there's people, and then like I found myself, well, who is this guy? I've never even heard of this person. And that's when you bust out your phone after the game's over, not during. You bust out your phone and you research that. And I learned, I mean, admittedly, about a lot of bad people, but I learned a lot about what they were, who they did, how they, brought about their justified demise in some cases. And I like that. I like when a game actually incorporates like a real life, like worldly people, and kind of like in a way inspires me to keep on thinking about the game after the game has been placed back in the box and we're done playing it. Now, regardless of anything, is the game fun? Yeah, it's fun. There's something cool about building up a crime empire. There's something cool about like working against other people and trying to bring down their world empire. There's something really fun about like realizing that like you need to make a really really risky like narcotics run, or take a real big gamble in attacking somebody else's like power structure, because you have to do it to win. And there's something like that I really really like about that. And those are the types of games that keep coming back to my table, because once again, this is a game that is not tough to learn. You can teach this game quickly. As I said in the how to play, the designers and the publishers went and made sure they did a very good job. Oh, and by the way, like the game is by this guy James Martin, and I was sad to find out that is not James Martin, the lead guitarist of Faith No More. I was hoping. I had this image of like James Martin. Anyway, I'm sure this James Martin is just as cool as James Martin of Faith No More. But anyway, I was a little bit sad. But anyway, regardless. No, I mean they've made it sure that the artwork looks nice. The iconography is clean and clear, and you can just figure out the game in like 5-6 minutes, and you're rolling. And so you set it up, you're playing, you're having fun, and after about an hour, one person's come out on top. And the game's going to have those signature moments, that I've always talked about that are really important, for games that like somebody, it's like, I need a 1 or a 2 on this die roll, and everybody's staring at the table, getting ready to watch that person roll that die, and like, ding, 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 and then 2, yeah! And then the one person's like, I like that stuff when I play games, and because it transcends the game, it transcends the medium that I'm using to enjoy it. It's about the people at the table. It's about me enjoying their company, and it's about us having a blast. And so yeah, and this game is a great medium in which to have those really really fun times with my family and my friends. So there you go. If you have any questions about True Crime Legends, ask away. I'll be happy to answer those as best as I can. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, as I've been saying, be the best possible you that you can possibly be. Be kind to strangers, be kind to your friends, be kind to your family. Spread the love, spread the kindness. The more happiness and positivity you give out to the world, I guarantee you the more happiness and positivity is going to come back. So until next time, this is me, the Undead Viking, telling you be awesome. Alright, till next time. Bye-bye.